Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mental Health Diaries, Season 2 of the podcast, episode number 2, with my fellow Time to Change Wales champion and mental health ambassador, Mark Collard. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. It's great to have you on the channel. It's always great to have another champion on, and so my viewers can get to know someone else's story.
Good, good. I'm pleased to be here. I'm looking forward to speaking to you.
Great. So, if you want to tell my viewers, tell us a little bit about your story and your mental health journey and what you've gone through, and a bit about your background.
Yeah, sure. I was diagnosed with depression when I was 14, whilst I was still in school. And ever since then, I've lived with anxiety, depression, and OCD. I've managed to deal with it. I've had moments, very, very dark moments, if I'm honest. Probably the most recent was about 7 years ago. I drove over to Penarth Headlands and tried to jump off a cliff, basically. And an off-duty policeman who recognised me from my previous life basically talked me down as I was literally climbing over the fence. And there's a little coffee shop, cafe on the headlands there. He took me in there, and I'm still here now, as they say. So the rest is history in that respect.
Yeah. So how does that make you feel looking back at that? Knowing that you went to that place to do that.
Yeah, I mean, looking back now, I totally the wrong thing to do. I understand who I am, where I want to be, what I want to do, all those kind of phrases, I suppose. But at the time, to me, it was the only thing that I could do or wanted to do, I suppose. Just a dark moment, I think.
Yeah, and I've had mine, as you know, and we've shared stories while being with Time to Change Wales, and I think
Yeah,
being in that dark moment gives us invaluable experience that we can pass on to other people to let them know that these
sure.
dark times don't last forever, that these dark times will pass, and you are stronger than your illness.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the reasons that though the policeman helped me talk me through it was that, he made the point that I was in my 50s or whatever it was then, and I've come this far. So why give it all up now, sort of thing, and I'd struggled with like the anxiety of like getting out of bed, not being able to go to work, making excuses that I have an upset stomach and bad headaches, because obviously the employer wouldn't want to know about
Yeah,
your mental health, certainly back in my day.
yeah,
So I've been through that, and I deal with the anxiousness and the nerves, as I call it. I get it every day. I mean, I count in threes and 12s. That's how I deal
hmm,
with my anxiousness and my nerves. 3, 6, 9, 12.
yeah.
It's with me all the time. Now I don't think much about it because I know it just happens.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think we all have our own coping strategies that we use, and coping techniques. I guess it's just the reason we want to share our stories is because we don't want other people feeling the way we did. But we are
yes.
we are proof that recovery is possible. So what made you get involved with Time to Change Wales, and why did you decide to become an ambassador for them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, which is, I'll tell you a little bit more about that shortly. But so
Mhm.
I'm where I am most of the time, doing my thing, writing and thinking about things.
Yeah,
And I clicked onto social media, onto Twitter, or X as it's called now, isn't
yeah,
it? And I'm not a big social media person, but I saw Time to Change Wales, and I think it was Time to Talk Day in February, I think it
mhm.
was. And I thought, oh, maybe I can help them. I never thought of them helping me, if you know what I mean. I thought maybe I could help them. So I
Yeah.
just sent off a message, and got a response back, asked, explained myself and asked would I like to do the training, which I did. And every time I've been involved with somebody from Time to Change Wales, and
Yeah,
including you now today, Dom, I
yeah.
feel more empowered and stronger to keep doing and keep talking.
Absolutely, and I think that's what it's done for me. I think I initially joined on Time to Talk Day in 2022, and the purpose that it's given me is massive in my recovery. Even though I still go through PTSD, anxiety, and depression, I still self-harm, I still have those suicidal moments. That purpose
Yeah,
that they've given me it drives me to continue to make it to the next day. And I think that's all we can do is take one day at a time. So why would you say men's mental health is so bad in general? Is it because we generationally men don't talk about their emotions or their feelings, or they don't like to admit any sort of weakness? Why do you think men's mental health is so bad?
Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head there. I think men historically just don't want to show their feelings. They want to be the big person, I suppose, the breadwinner, the phrases they used to use back in my day with my
Yeah,
mum and dad.
yeah,
I mean, my dad is a great example. He died last year. He was 88, but a sportsman, powerful, strong man, but never talked to you, never told you his feelings or anything like that.
yeah,
And looking back over his life, I can see that there was things going on in his head, if you like. I mean, he'd separated from my mum, as I said, when I was 14, 15. They got back together again a year's time, then they did it again, and they got back together again, and then they did it again. But the last 40 years or so, he's basically lived as a bachelor, although he would see my mum because she's still alive.
yeah.
Um, and she carries with her a lot of mental health problems as well, which I think have come over to me, I suppose, in a sense, because what's happened in the family.
Mhm.
But going back to the men, I mean, they
Yeah.
just wouldn't do, certainly men in my age and older, would do what we're doing today.
Yeah, I mean, we shared that moment at the that exhibition show we went to the other week with that elderly gentleman who'd lost his wife.
Yeah.
Those sort of moments. He didn't initially he didn't want to talk to us, did he? He was so like,
No,
oh, I'm talking to two blokes here. Let's not tell him. But then
yeah.
he opened up and then he started to let us know about his story.
Powerful moment for me because that's the
Yeah,
first time that I've been to something like that since I've become a champion.
yeah,
And straight there straight away and yeah, I mean it was really good to talk to him and I'm hopeful that he went away thinking, well, that was positive as well.
yeah. It's that hope that people want to find. Because sometimes they feel that they're at the end of the road. There's no hope, but there's always hope because tomorrow is another day. And I guess a lot of people hold the past in their head, but the future is in their hands. So, I think letting go of the past and knowing that tomorrow is another day
Yeah,
is the way forward.
absolutely. I mean you couldn't put it any better than that. I mean obviously we're going to do some of my poetry
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
touch on phrases like that as we go along.
yeah,
I mean that's a really positive way of looking at it is you just deal with it
mm,
and move on.
yeah.
And the more we talk and say things about our story, hopefully it transmits to other people who maybe are thinking the same thoughts or have had those thoughts, and don't think
Absolutely.
that they're on their own. Because the biggest thing I get as well is I'm always alone in a crowded room with loved ones, family and friends. I'm constantly feeling alone. That's another symptom of what I carry around with
Yeah.
me. So to talk is so positive and important.
Yeah, talking is a powerful tool in our battle against discrimination and stigma because a conversation is a powerful thing. It can save a life. So I
Yeah.
think we would all be better people if we opened up and talked more and let people in and also allow people to express themselves because every story matters and what they're going through matters to them. So it should matter to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can't stress it anymore, can we? Just
No.
talk, talk, talk.
And finally, before we start talking about your poetry, how do you think we can end the discrimination? Is it with organisations like Time to Change Wales, and the more champions that we can get, the bigger the message? How do you think we can help Time to Change Wales combat discrimination and stigma?
Yeah, I think Time to Change Wales is important, as are all the mental health charities that are out there and the help that you can get. I think the more of us, the wider we can go, the bigger we can spread the word, if you like. I think I always used to think that less is more, but I think in terms of the mental health, I
Mm.
think more is more,
Yeah, yeah.
if I can put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we on the 10th of September just gone, it was World Suicide Prevention Day. And that
Yeah,
is a massive day for me because I tried to end my life twice.
yeah,
And the memories of that day will haunt me forever, but it's also proof that I survived it. So,
yeah.
celebrating mental health days and Time to Talk Day is great. But one thing I've said to Time to Change Wales is Time to Talk Day should be every day. Mental health,
Yes,
people
definitely.
talking about their mental health should be every day. it's time to talk
yeah,
now. I think that, they should be called time to change Wales
yeah,
and time to talk now. But
yeah,
it's a powerful thing, and the people forget how powerful the written word can be and the spoken word, which leads us on
yeah.
greatly to what you do. You're
Okay,
wonderfully creative with your poetry, and tell us a bit about how you got into writing and what inspires your poetry.
okay. So I think probably the COVID scenario, the pandemic, the lockdowns, like everybody else, we were all put into little boxes, I suppose, and it just sort of highlighted our personalities, who we are, how we felt, and those kind of things. So
Yeah,
my wife had to work from home, which is what she's doing today, and I came into this second bedroom here, and I just started to sit on the edge of my bed and start write down my thoughts. Really, I've always been interested in music and melodies and things like that. And I've worked with a couple of people over the years, but having had what I call a proper job for most of my life, I never really gave it any um, I don't know, thought or wanted to take it any further than perhaps what was just going on in my head,
yeah,
sort of thing. But the COVID thing allowed me to do that. So I literally started writing down my thoughts. Uh, Melodies were coming into my head, so I would just sing them to myself.
hmm
And I just read out a couple of them to my wife. She said, "You need to keep going." She said, "Just keep going, keep writing, and see where you go." So, cutting a long story short, back end of last year, I finally got to a point where I thought, actually, I've written something here that's worth putting out there. So I
yeah,
call it a concept album, and I just call it Sitting on the Edge of My Bed. And
hmm
it is basically me doing poetry and singing some songs and just telling the world about what's going on in my head, my experiences, and trying to translate that into words. But as I've gone on,
hmm
through that process, and I've got some today with me that aren't on the concept album, because I feel stronger for talking, they've got my poetry has got more positive,
hmm
as opposed to being not necessarily dark, but very gloomy, I suppose, to put it that way. So I've moved on from that, and I think that's really positive from my point of view. So
yeah,
they're
and
not funny, but they are just positive.
yeah, I guess that shows the shift in mindset from maybe a dark mindset to a more lighter mindset, because you're creatively
Yeah,
expressing yourself and getting your words down on a poem or a song, whatever it may be, and
yeah,
that's that creative side of you coming through.
yeah. And I mean, who'd have thought if you'd have told me back, 30 years ago that when you get into your 60s, you start writing poetry and singing songs, I'd have, I just laughed at you really and said, get up. But if I can do it, that's what I say to people now. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, it's never too late to change your life, and it's
No,
never too late to express yourself. And I
no,
think everyone is wonderfully unique in their own special way. Um,
sure.
I'm able to verbalize mental health positively, which is why I have this channel. Your way of
Yeah,
creating yourself and expressing yourself is through poetry and song. And that's what's going to inspire my listeners today. So
good.
I'm going to hand the mic over to you. Start with whatever you want to start with. So, guys, enjoy.
Okay.
This is original work from Mark Collard. Let's all sit back and listen.
Okay. So what I thought I would do is I would just read you what really started the process, calling sitting on the edge of my bed.
Okay? Yeah.
So, sitting on the edge of my bed, exploring the thoughts that are running through my head. Some are bizarre, some are bad, some are kind, some are mine. Maybe I should walk away and say, oh hey, come what may. Sitting on the edge of my bed, listening to all those mixed up thoughts that are running through my head. Some are happy, some are sad, some are confused, some are lost, some should never be used. Sitting on the edge of my bed, listening to all those polluted thoughts that are running through my head. Feeling happy, feeling lost, feeling sad, feeling confused. Sitting on the edge of my bed. So that was the starting process for
Wow.
me.
And I can resonate with a lot of those feelings, because I think everyone who experiences mental health go through every single one of those thoughts and feelings in their head. And I think
Yeah,
your place was sitting on your bed. My place was hiding myself in my bedroom, and lots of people will have their own safe space. And I think
Yeah,
that comes across in, you know, that it's very inspiring that you found that place on the edge of your bed to take you to a creative level.
absolutely. I feel so comfortable here, in this little confined space, I suppose, little bedroom, second bedroom. But yeah, I feel wonderful. I'm here. It's the best place I can be. And the best place I can be is when I go up to my friend in Pontypool who's got a recording studio. I just love it. If I could stay with him all day recording and singing and writing my words and tweaking things, I'm 100% happy. So this
Yeah.
is the next best year, really.
Yeah.
Um, so there's one I've recently written, really,
Yeah.
because as I said to you earlier, that I've moved on in a sense of moving from the darkness. I tried to be more positive, but I also thought maybe because I'm talking, telling people how I feel and what sort of goes on in my mind, that I thought
Yeah.
maybe I could do something that maybe just resonate with people on a level of one word at a time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I've come up with this little poem called 20 Words.
Okay.
Silence, empty, lost, lights, off, darkness, descends, dread, head, tears, fears, pain, rain, shame, again, fight, numbers, positive, thoughts, strong, walk, talk. So that's my sort of word element to me, really.
And when people who go through mental health problems, for me, then I was able to connect to every single one of those words. I resonated with it because I experience every single one of those things throughout my daily life.
Yeah,
So again, a very, very powerful, simple but powerful message. I thought that
yeah.
was amazing.
Thank you. I mean, it's my anxiety, my OCD, my depression. That's where that comes from. So that's great. If you get it, then hopefully other people will also. So that's brilliant.
They keep those words in their head, but hearing someone speak it, that's what
Yeah,
resonates with them. And I think it's that
yeah,
human connection that people have lost in 2023. We need to get that human
yeah.
connection back. So people should help people, and people can inspire other people. And I think your work, your songs and your poetry will inspire people.
Good, great. I got time for one or two more.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So as you say, we'll move on a little bit more positive now,
Yeah,
in a sense.
yeah.
So this one's called emotional connection. An emotional connection, upon reflection, is something that we all need from time to time. An emotional connection is something that we all need to concentrate the mind. An emotional connection is something that will save us all from a catastrophic fall. An emotional connection is something that we all need, whether it be spiritual, logical, or methodical. An emotional connection will point us all in the right direction. It's the mind that has to unwind. An emotional connection is something that we all need to save us from the sands of time. An emotional connection is all we need in times of happiness, in times of sadness. Upon reflection, an emotional connection will point us all in the right direction. So don't delay, don't wait for tomorrow, connect today. An emotional connection is all that we need to stand tall, to save us all from a fall. An emotional connection is something we all need, whether it be spiritual, logical, or methodical. Upon reflection, an emotional connection is all that we need. That
Wow.
that one gets me, as you can tell. The tone of my
Yeah.
voice goes a little bit with that one.
Again,
So
very, very powerful. And I think what's coming across in your poetry is the realism and the the heartfelt message behind each word and behind each sentence. And again, it's very, very inspiring to hear, someone who's gone through mental health issues like myself become so
Yeah.
creative with it, and using that fuel
Yeah.
that they have
Yeah.
to create something positive for other people.
Great. I mean, yeah, I just feel so good. Even I get, emotional with it, but that's pretty obvious, I think. But yeah, it just makes me feel so much better. And if I can help people just by, saying a few words, then that'd be brilliant.
And I think sometimes people forget that being kind to someone, no matter how big or small the gesture is, it can
Yeah,
change someone's life, whether that be through a conversation or a poem or a song or just a normal connection with a human being. We've lost it.
absolutely.
We've lost the art to find that human connection because of everything that's going on. But what comes across in your work is that powerful, honest message.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So I'm gonna go on to my real positive one, if you like, in that
Yeah, we've
sense.
got plenty of time. They'll let the Zoom will let me know when I'm running out of time, so we got all the time in the world. So yeah, fire
Okay.
away with your next one.
Okay. So this is I'm rocking this anxiety. Um, so I'm rocking this anxiety, despite its insobriety. I'm rocking this anxiety for all its notoriety. My anxiety holds me back. My anxiety keeps me on track. I'm making the most of these feelings of sadness and pain. I'm looking for the gain, channeling my thoughts, fighting away the dread, fighting away the darkness that's going on in my head. I'm striving for greatness. I must shake off these feelings of confusion and loss. My head is a fortress. I'm rocking this anxiety, despite its insobriety. For all its notoriety, I'm rocking this anxiety. My anxiety holds me back. My anxiety keeps me on track. I'm locked in a battle royal. I'm fighting back. My mind is loyal. I can win this war. It's well within my capabilities. I can beat the pain. I have the abilities. I'm not going to change my name. I'm rocking this anxiety, despite its insobriety. For all its notoriety, I'm rocking this anxiety.
Yeah, a very, very powerful message in there as well about how to deal with anxiety and learning
Yeah,
to recognize your anxiety. And I think that comes across again. It's very informative, it's very creative.
yeah,
And with someone who suffers from anxiety, me hearing that lets me know that I'm not suffering it alone, because I recognize the
yeah,
feelings that you're saying. So again,
yeah.
massively inspiring, and I
Good,
think that comes across in your work. That genuine, heartfelt message that you're trying to portray comes across in your words.
good, good. I'm pleased. That's great. Thank you. Um, I'm just flicking. I could probably let's have a look. I've got a very short one,
Yeah,
and then maybe there's one more that I could end on, I think,
yeah,
and that way would be good.
yeah.
So this one's called Talk. This one is called Talk. It's time to talk. I don't know about you, but I find I'm better at it when I go for a walk. Mind you, I should say I'm not a big fan of dogs. There are some days when I take the black dog for a walk. That's the time when I really need to talk. So that's, as I say, short and sweet, really, but it's just that sort of emphasis on the
Yeah, and
word talk, I think.
it's that it's that to the point message of talking, and that's what we want to get more people doing, is talking about their
Yeah,
feelings. And I think
yeah,
again that hits home, that message of it's okay to talk.
yeah, absolutely. That's, we can't stress it enough, can we, really? I
No,
mean,
and
if
I
it's,
guess that's time to change Wales' message, just our message, that
yeah,
your feelings are valid, no matter how small or big you may feel they are. Your story matters to us, and we want to inspire you to be able to share your story because it will inspire others.
yeah. I mean, it's a little word talk, isn't it? But it's got big consequences.
It
Yeah,
can do big things. It's very, very
absolutely.
powerful that people sometimes don't realize how powerful it can be. speaking to fellow ambassadors and champions inspires me to do better, will inspire me to create more videos, will inspire me to invite more champions on. What you're doing is
Yeah.
inspiring, and to see how you've come into your own with creating this sort of stuff through mental health problems is amazing to me. So you should be proud of
Yeah.
yourself.
Thank you. And you should be proud as well for doing what you do, because as you say, you're getting people like me talking to you, and that's exactly what we're trying to do between us,
Yeah.
isn't it? I think.
I think that's what all the champions are trying to do. So let's hear your final one.
Yeah, sure. So this one I call my superpower and me. I have a superpower. That's right, a superpower. It's always with me, whether it be day or night. It's there when I make a cup of tea. It's there even when I go to the lavatory. My superpower gives me the ability to tell you and you and you about my innermost feelings and thoughts. The anxiety that rests within me, the OCD when I count to the three, the intrusive thoughts that surround me, the darkness and depression, they are always in my possession. My superpower gives me the strength to talk about my mental health, to fight against the pain, even in the rain. My superpower is always with me, even on high days and holidays. It's not a game. These feelings exist again and again and again. There definitely isn't any shame in talking about your innermost feelings and thoughts. So I'll say it again. I have a superpower. It allows me to talk about the pain and take cover from the rain. So keep talking again and again and again.
Yeah,
That's,
massively inspiring and empowering, because that's giving people permission to feel and talk, because they might
yeah,
feel like they're scared to talk, but hearing something like that will give them the courage to say, I want to talk about my feelings now. And
yeah,
I think, the more of those poems and songs that you can get out there, the better the
yeah,
message will be. Because I think too many people these days don't realize how much they are valued and see
yeah,
their own value. And I think you see your own value through your poetry and your songs. And
yeah.
again, massively powerful messages in all of those.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sing for you today, but what I do when I do my thing, I've done it probably 3 or 4 times. I do like a 12, 15 minute thing when I do the poetry, and then I do a couple of songs a cappella, because I think the a cappella is so powerful because it's so close to the spoken word then, but it's
Yeah,
just got a little melody with it, that's all. So
yeah, yeah.
so that's what I tend to do. So there
And
are loads of others that I
mhm,
could have done, but obviously, you know,
mhm.
pick and
No,
choose the right ones for
I
today.
think the people who watch this video, and I got nearly 2,000 subscribers now, so
Okay.
the amount of people that will hear your words will be massively empowered. And guys, if any of you want more information from Mark, just get in the comments, let me know, and I'll forward on any emails that you wanna speak to him about,
Yeah.
because I think poetry and being able to write down your feelings is so powerful. It took me a long
Yeah.
time to be able to talk about it, let alone write
Yeah.
them down. And I think what you've done is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, if we can just get that word out there that everybody can do this, they've got the ability, haven't they? Then that's success, then, isn't it?
Yeah. If you had one final message, because time is running out, we've got about 4 or 5 minutes. If you
Yeah.
had one final message to people out there who are currently ashamed of their feelings, or who is scared to come and say that they're suffering mentally because of
Yeah.
discrimination and stigma, what would you say to those people?
I would say just talk to people, regardless of how they react, because you'll obviously get some negative people, but you'll get a lot of positive people, and they will come to you and say, "That's exactly how I feel. I'm glad you told me that." So just do it.
Mhm. And I think
Just talk.
the inspiration has to inspirate people. Want inspiration in their life, people need it. And I think when people hear what your words are and what your message is, it comes across as genuine and honest, and that's what they can relate to. And I
yeah,
think people have lost the ability to believe in themselves. You believed in yourself, and you've turned you turned your life around, and you're now a poet and a singer.
yeah,
So you've been through all of this, but on the other side of that, you've created something special for yourself, and that's massively uh, a massive well done to you. And because you've gone from this to that, and it's just amazing what you've done. And finding the time to be an ambassador and a champion, that's amazing too. Because
yeah,
and I said it in I done champion training in the week. New champions were training, and they had a champion come in and speak. So I was
yeah,
speaking to new champions and sharing my story, and the amount of people that said to the guys afterwards that he was so genuine, it came across
yeah,
as that's why we joined, to hear genuine, real stories from real people. And I think
yeah,
my final message would be to everyone is that we were all born champions. It's not just me and Mark and the other Time to Change Wales champions. We were all born
yeah.
champions. We just haven't, sometimes some of you just haven't found your belts yet. But you
Yeah.
will. You will one day.
Absolutely. We've all got that story to tell, and it should be told.
Yeah.
It should just keep going and going and going and going and going.
Well, thank you for coming on, Mark, on the channel. It's been really great to have you on. Very inspiring poetry. Massive congratulations to you and what you've managed to do, turning your life around, and you inspire me to be better every day. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me. And you keep doing what you're doing because you inspire me as well, and I'm sure the people around you. So yeah, keep going. You're
Thank you
brilliant.
very much, mate. And I'm sure I'll get you on again soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Tom. See you
Take care
soon.
of yourself,
Bye.
mate.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.